This isn't really going to be of interest to anybody but me. There's probably an echo. I'm so sick of this. I can't figure out why there's echoes. I don't just go back. Don't watch this. There's no reason to. I'm just going to be complaining about random things. This isn't on a topic. This is just how I feel right now. It's 9:35. I was going to say 53 degrees. That's not mean. That's Boston. I live in Boston. It's May 10th. You know what's weird? I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what's weird? For some reason, when I was in high school, and I'm just saying this now after looking at it being May 10th, because I didn't know till I just looked. I've always remembered that this was a famous couple's anniversary. That a famous couple from my youth got married on this date. And I will never not know, when it's May 10th, I will never not know that. And it's funny to me, because there's so many birthdays and anniversaries and important historical things, but I always know somehow that this is the day that Tommy Lee married, wait for it, Heather Locklear. You thought I was going to say Pam Anderson. This is the funniest thing. I liked them, both of them at the time. I wasn't the biggest Motley Crue fan. I liked them. I watched Dynasty. So why I always remember this, I'll never know. I'll never know. That just entertained me when I was in a pissy mood. That I saw that it was May 10th and I was like, ping. Yeah, that's the kind of mind I have. I don't know why. That's the stuff it remembers. It can't remember anything worthwhile. Yeah, so I don't know what's wrong with me. If I'm depressed, I've been depressed my whole life. I just can't do anything. I can't care anymore. I don't feel low. I mean, like I said, a lot of days because of my situation, I wake up scared. And then all I have to do is try to calm myself down. But it doesn't make me do anything because I'm just in a... You could call it a funk, you can call it a lot of things. Like I said, this whole... I kept being stopped at the beginning of this lockdowns and things, trying to get the things I needed to get done, and then I realized I just had to wait. So I technically gave up, but I gave up with the idea that I would start up again in September because I thought that was going to be the end of my situation. Then I found out it was extended. After that, it's been impossible for me. I couldn't think of any. I felt like I really had to think of something to save myself, and I couldn't think of anything. Like I couldn't make one plan. I couldn't come up with one strategy because to me it was that point in time, or I know people don't understand, but there's certain things where time makes everything worse. And you need to do things before certain things happen and get worse. And if you don't, then it's probably not you missed your chance, but it just makes everything too complicated. And then you can't think of a way out. So I think that was such a shock to me because I didn't find out that I thought everything was going to open up to me and I was going to be able to do whatever I wanted on September 2nd. And I wasn't able to do that. And I only found out like a couple days before. And it was such a shock to me because I had been forcing myself to hang on just to get to that date. And then when I found out, no, not only did I have to hang on longer, at that point I had $2, that I had to hang on for an indefinite time because since it had been extended because of the lockdowns and everything, that it could still be extended again. And that just, like I said, my brain short-circuited. I couldn't figure out how to come up with a plan. I couldn't figure out what to do. And I couldn't think of anything. And it just seemed like everything I told myself for a year was a lie. I knew people who may or may not have been lying to me actually believed that one. And it was true until the government changed it. So once they changed that, I was like, well, they could change anything. They can do whatever they want. If they're going to use emergency powers during lockdown, You know, if they're going to do these things, how can I plan anything? Because, or try to plan. It's amazing to try to plan when you have nothing. You know, well, you don't have nothing, but you don't have what normal people have. But I was trying to do it anyway. I was trying to come up with something, and all the things I came up with just disintegrated. I don't know why I said it like that. Disintegrated. And then I could not think of one other thing, and I think my brain's been off since then, and maybe it's been atrophying since September. But then the reason I turned on and I started making videos and I turned on the webcam that day was there was an insurrection. And I said, okay, I'm saved. The world's ending. I don't have to think about it anymore. Because I thought, okay, this is an actual revolt. And then that didn't happen. And then everything kind of shut down because we had a president then who we knew what he was doing all the time. The media wasn't going to leave him alone, and we were constantly getting information. And after that day, everything stopped. No more information. So I don't feel like I've known what was going on in the outside world since then. If anything, the media just says what they're told to say, you know, going by what, you know, the CDC says or WHO says or whatever, and then you have different governors doing whatever they're doing, and the media seems to be preparing us for a future that was going to sort of stay half locked down. Now all of a sudden everything's open back up, and I feel like I'm not ready. Not only am I not ready, I never thought that was going to happen, but also I don't think it's the right thing to do for anybody else. There is a sickness out there that was new, that was flu-like, but it was new. And to me, what's happening right now is going to spread it more than ever. And maybe that's how they want to get rid of the people who don't want to get vaccinated. But because if people who are vaccinated, and these are things I'm hearing, I'm not saying that this is exact. I'm saying if people who have been vaccinated can still carry it and pass it along, and then there's other people who aren't vaccinated and they're all mixing together, and you know, all the governors are saying you don't have to wear masks anymore, and you know, everybody needs to go back to work. You're going to have a bunch of people back together without masks on and stuff. Some, or probably most vaccinated, because I think jobs and stuff are not going to let people not be vaccinated. But they're going to be going around, and everybody's going to be in buses and things together, and the vaccinated people will now be breathing on everybody. And so the virus will be in the air. If they're still able to carry it, like I've heard, I don't know if it's true. That's what I heard. If that's true, if it's not true, then okay. But, and I heard it from the television. I don't make this stuff up. I'm not getting everything off the internet. But if people are still able to carry it, even though they've been vaccinated, they don't personally get sick, then that'll mean just it's going to be in the air, especially indoors, more than it was before. If everybody's going around talking and laughing and whatever, in ways that people haven't been all this time with the masks on. So that could make things worse. Like I said, that's what I've heard. That's a guess I'm having. If people are mixing together, some vaccinated, some not vaccinated, then the people, I think the people who, once they're vaccinated, they're going to not want to wear masks anymore, which they probably aren't already. And if the restrictions come down, then yeah. Or like say the people who are vaccinated have head colds. You know, they're going to now be putting head cold germs out into the world that they weren't before with the masks on. So, or the regular flu. So there's that. That's a reason why I personally would not think that it's a good idea to just suddenly open everything back up the minute a good portion of the people have been vaccinated. So I wasn't expecting them to do this quickly. I thought there was going to be more of a, what do you call it? Not weaning on, more of a gradual opening up. It was like they just opened the door, boom. You know, imagine somebody opening the door like on Black Friday when they just open the door and everybody rushes in. I didn't realize people were literally just like waiting at the starting line for the gun to go off to go back to normal. I didn't think people thought that way. I guess they did. I guess because I never believed what I was hearing. But if you believed it, I guess you really thought all we had to do was get to a point and then everything opens back up. I don't think this is a good idea for anybody. But for me personally, like I said, I'm not ready to go back to normal because I was never normal. So there's no going back to anything for me. There's just having to suddenly try to catch up to everybody else, which I could never do. The things I thought I would do before the lockdowns happened, it's just not possible anymore. I know people don't understand, but when you've gotten so far behind on your bills and you're in such a situation that you weren't in the beginning, you can't just do what you used to do. You can't. Whatever I thought I could have done 6 months ago, 7 months ago, that changed. Again, because once things go too far, you can't go back and do what you would have done then. It's different. And what is there to do now? There's only one thing to do. And I don't know that would work out for me. But I also can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm too tired. I feel too old. I mean, yesterday, like for example, yesterday, I went out early because I'm like, again, I said before, I'm trying to not take the bus. So I'm trying to walk everywhere. So I walked down to Walgreens early. And then halfway there, my back starts to tighten up. I come back. I force myself to go all the way, come back. Everything hurts. I lay down. My hips are killing me. I don't know. And it's like I'm supposed to be doing things. There's so many times where I'm supposed to be doing things. And I get physically knocked out. Then there's the times I get mentally knocked out. And up until the last couple years, there was some normal kind of life that even if I didn't want it, even if I didn't have hopes and dreams, even if I didn't have goals, even if I was just trying to get through the day, the future wasn't black. The future wasn't, just a fog of God knows what. So in order to do things, in order to push yourself when you're tired, when things hurt, it has to be for something. You know how people say they have a reason to live? Well, I haven't had a reason to live in very many years. But things had to be done. My mom was here. Things had to be done. At this point, the only person who's having this problem is me. What happens to me isn't going to affect anybody else. And I don't see a future. I don't want a future now. I've said this many times. Every day, whatever comes through the news, whatever I see, and remember, I don't know any people. Or I don't have friends, or whatever you want to call it. I don't associate with any people. So whatever comes through the news, whatever comes through the internet is all bad. Again, the internet used to be my escape. or movies or whatever used to be my way out of thinking about my horrible life. That's what kept me going. In the old days, I used to always try to have a concert ticket. Like once or twice a year, I would buy concert tickets or tickets to a Broadway show to have something to look forward to, because there was nothing in my life except bad day after bad day that made me feel really bad, and I had nothing and no hope. Yeah, I can already hear the SJWs who, this is the problem. These people like sit in your head now. Tell you, well, you're privileged if you have an internet connection, and you're privileged if you have a roof over your head, and you're privileged. And that's all I can think of is like, this is the world I can't stand. There's always somebody waiting there to tell you why you're wrong. There's always somebody waiting there to tell you how wonderful everything is. There's always somebody waiting there to tell you love and light as a threat. All that's happened over this time is people being meaner to each other, harsher to each other, nastier, for no reason. There's people in this world. And Twitter, yeah, Twitter is supposed to be a horrible place. That's just what people really think. People are letting out what they really think. That's what it is compared to years ago when people used to keep their horrible thoughts about you inside. Okay? That's what people really think. So there's always somebody on Twitter waiting to correct you about your life, correct you about your opinions, tell you how you should think, tell you how you should feel, tell you everything. And just waiting to just fight with you. Because, I don't know. Those are the people I hate. This is why I say I hate everyone and everything. I have not met or heard of one person who makes me feel better about this world, who makes me feel like even if I'm not friends with them or I know them or they're part of my life, that people will let you live in peace. Everything, all the time, every minute of every day, all this stuff I see is stuff that I either can't go along with, goes against everything I think, makes me not want to be in the future. And what I should be doing is hustling and really trying to do things to help myself in the inevitable future that's coming and try to salvage something. But my life has shown me that all the effort I put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put in only made things worse. So my life experience has told me that I'm ineffectual at anything. Whatever I do comes to nothing except making me tireder and older with more aches and pains. And somehow I'm supposed to forget all that and raise my vibration and be positive and love and light, and everything's going to be so great. I know too much about people. Not just from these last 2 years. I've always known it. But I just felt like before I could manage it, I could manage dealing with people and their shit. The degree to which bullshit, everybody's everyday bullshit, has been exposed throughout the lockdowns. Like I said, you can't like celebrities anymore. You can't use that as Calgon. You can't go on Twitter. You can't go on Instagram. You can't go on any of these things without being disgusted by the rich. Okay? Even if you agree with certain people about one thing, if you talk about something else, they'll start attacking you for that thing that you don't agree about. Which was one thing, it was a pastime, I suppose, while we were all in lockdown. But now we're all supposed to be thrown back in together. I hate everybody. And I know everybody hates me. I hate what people are now. That's the thing. It's like, it's not I hate this kind of person or I hate that kind of person or, you know, these kind of people are mean to me or those people in that group. Like I said, I'm not partisan person, Republican, Democrat. I don't care. I don't care about genders. I don't care about race. I don't care about any of that stuff. You know, so back in the day, I used to like everybody, in theory. Now I hate everybody, in theory, because all that my interactions. Yesterday, I was minding my business. I said something about the NBC Nightly News, and this guy jumps on me because I made a mistake. And I was like, I know this person's, I don't know who the hell this person is, but I know they've been following me on Twitter since forever. I don't even know why I have Twitter followers, like I said, Twitter followers. Like I said, I don't know why people watch these videos. But people just waiting to get you. And I'm like, really? I said, you've been following me since forever, and you're attacking me in defense of NBC Nightly News because I watched something, and to me, my interpretation of the way I saw it, unless I missed half of a fragment, got past me, where they were actually talking about both sides. It didn't seem that way to me. It seemed like they were talking about one side, and I made a comment about that. Somebody out of the clear blue who's been following me since forever, never said anything, had to tell me how that wasn't true, and I've got the tape to prove it, and all this shit like that. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, well, guess what? If you wanted to correct me, you could have done that without being a douchebag. And clearly, I mean, I've been complaining about that channel since forever. This is one time I made a mistake. Was he waiting for years to jump on me when I made an error? This is what I'm saying. And did I interact with anybody else yesterday? No. If I go to the store, if I get on the bus, this has been for years. If I interact with people, it's negative. It's been negative for years. I mind my business. I try to stay alone. Even when it was me and my mom, we would go out and I wouldn't bother other people. I would be quiet. I would hang around with my mom. That was it. And then people would try to join our party through her because she was nice and I wasn't. I was a snob who didn't talk to people or whatever. I just stayed by myself. I didn't hate anybody's guts. I just would be alone and just, you know. But when my mom was around, they would try to invade our party through her. And then she didn't talk that much. So they would talk to me. And then I would have to deal with these people who decided to come over and walk through the door of our space because she left the door open. And I had to deal with so many. And I got so sick of people. This is going on. This is probably 3 years ago. I was so sick of people. I was like, I couldn't go grocery shopping. We couldn't go sit in a little cafeteria area where you have coffee without people having to come and just invade my world because my mother left the door to my world open. I was already fed up with people then. Now, I've been alone for a year. I could examine through the internet and through just regular life. I mean, nobody was talking to anybody mostly for this last year, even in the bus or at the bus stop. Very little communication because people didn't want to germ each other, masks or not. And, but I already talked about how after my mom died, how stupid and ridiculous people were. And the number of people who still won't look at me in the eye because my mom died is just incredible. And all these things, just like, this is why I hate people, this is why I hate people. Because, again, I am a certain way. I have been checking my behavior and trying to be a better person in terms of what I think a better person is. Jesus don't like me, so I'm not talking about that. I'm obviously not that kind of better person. Okay? But I try to be more the kind of person I want to be all this time. And that is, I leave people alone unless they need to talk because I don't like being bothered. I don't like to give people unsolicited advice because I don't like unsolicited advice. But if people want to talk, I will definitely talk to them. If people have to get something off their chest, I will let them do that. I try, again, golden rule, to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I've tried harder and harder to do that my whole life. But this is the thing that gets me. You know that expression, you only get what you give? I have never, in all the cliches in this world, I have never heard of a more false one in terms of life proof. My life has proved to me over and over and over, I get exactly what I don't give. All I get is people minding my business, trying to tell me what to do, talking down to me, treating me like I'm a stupid person, knowing nothing about me, telling me how to run my life. People with their loud, obnoxious music, people just not giving a crap about my space, people who only only harm when they are supposed to be helping, whether you ask for their help or not. They come to make a mess in your life and they leave. That's what I've been going through with people for so long. They show up, make a mess in your life and leave. And I was thinking about it for years anyway, but I've really had the last year to think about everything in my life, how I got to this point, and where I was supposed to have taken the other path, where I was supposed to have made a different choice. The only choice I made that I could see going back and undoing was going to college, which you just were supposed to. I never thought that you would not go. And I was told you're supposed to go to the best school that you could get into. And that was the only decision I remember making, because everything after that came from that. Because of money. Which is why I hate money. But I never was a money person. I never went after it. I never wanted it. And to this day, I can't do the things that I need to do to save myself based on the idea that I need money. I can't do it. I wasn't wired to chase money. I wasn't wired to value it over other things. And because of that, I still, in the most desperate situation, I can't force myself to be motivated by the need for it, not the want of it, the need of it. I can't, and I know in a lot of people's eyes that makes me a bad person, but back in the day, I never thought I would be without it. I just always thought I would get a job, work hard, get paid at the end of the week, or, however, if you had a salary job or whatever, instead of, and then I would pay my bills. I never thought that because I didn't chase it, because I didn't have a thirst for it, because I didn't go after it like crazy, that I would end up desperate for not having it. I just thought putting one foot in front of the other, being a good person, because every job I had, I worked hard. I always worked more than I was getting paid, way more. And I never ever got fired. They were bad. The jobs I had were bad, and they never paid me enough money. So after about a year, I would have to look for another one until I couldn't find one anymore. That's the whole story. So I never thought that I needed to be money hungry in order to survive. But that's the lesson I'm learning. I've been criticizing all these money hungry people who will, sell their souls and the souls of others for money. Life's teaching me that they're right and I'm wrong. Or maybe they're the good people and I'm the bad person. I've been thinking that for a while. I've been thinking that since before the lockdowns, actually, that I'd always been wrong. And that you are supposed to just lie, cheat, and steal just to have money. Because in the end, that not having money is what makes you a bad person. The way this world works, who says there's anything else besides this world? If this is all there is, and you don't have money, but you're a good person meaning you don't harm other people, but you don't have money, in this world, you are a lousy person. The good people are the ones who have all the money. Whether they are kind or steal or, I don't know, pimp people out or sell drugs or rob banks and, do armed robberies and home invasions. I mean, in this world, the money is the thing that makes you a respectable human being. So if there's no other world, if it's just this, if we get born and we die and we go in the ground or we get cremated or whatever, and that's that, then those people are right, and how you treat other people doesn't matter, and and so then that makes me a horrible person. And I'm going to have to die a horrible person. I'd like to die a horrible person as soon as possible so that I don't have to deal with more of the pain and suffering that's going to come from not being a good person with money in this world. That's the other room. I'm always looking over there because I hear something. It's usually the heating system, and I just forget. I don't know why the heat's still coming on. It should be warmer. It's gonna do those kind of things where it gets cold and hot and cold and hot and no middle. There's been a real lack of middle. Like normal fall weather, well, it felt like, I shouldn't say that. It felt like cool fall yesterday. Like I went out on the porch to throw out some stuff and I was like, it's freezing. I was cold just going on the porch for 1 second. And I didn't expect it. I haven't expected anything either. I keep being surprised. Like a dumb person. I am a dumb person. And I know there's people who hate me and think I'm a horrible person just for doing this. Just for admitting my stupidity. Say this is a pity party. Say this is whatever. I don't care. You didn't like me anyway. Everything I've ever thought is wrong. I can't change now. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? I can't change. I can't be motivated by the dollar, even if I need it really bad. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that makes me wonderful. I'm not. I grew up around the kind of people who didn't. My mom and my aunts and those people, they grew up in the generation where you went and worked in a factory. Okay? And they either stayed working there or moved on to something else. But there was that guaranteed, walk down the street and there's a job. Okay? Generations like after that, people did other things, and college was supposed to be the ticket to the generation before me. So that's why they had us do that. And that's what I did what I thought I was supposed to do. It's hard because when you can't think of anything to do going forward, your mind just reverts to going back and thinking about the past. And I kept trying to come up with something. I kept having ideas in my head up until, like I said, that time in September, last September, where I was just like, after that, I couldn't think anymore. And all this time since then, I've just been hoping it figures itself out. But it's still like, I gotta do something. And I can't move. Like, I can't be moved. I don't know what the hell I think is going to happen, but I just can't. I've been thinking for a long time that I'm quote unquote low energy, but that's not even it. This is like, and it's gotten worse over these whatever months since September, where I can't even, I'm thinking less and less. I'm able to envision less and less. a bill comes and I'm kind of like, oh, really? Fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you know what? I don't even know what this is. If I was mentally ill, I would never want to take pills, just like I don't want to get a vaccine. I am not a person who wants to be medicated. I don't think chemicals going in you help. I knew people who took pills for anxiety or depression and stuff. Those people were brain dead. Even if I thought those pills would help, I can't be brain dead right now. I am brain dead already, but I can't be more brain dead. I'm alone in this world. I have to keep my wits about me the best I can. My brain is failing me. But like, somebody wouldn't want to get drunk and drive because you need to be alert. I can't trust anybody at all to be on my side or do anything that will not make my life worse. Nobody understands me. Nobody ever has. What other people do to survive, what other people want, I can't live with what they do. So for them to tell me to do what they do, or to try to get me to do what they do, I can't live like that. I can't be other people. I've never been other people. So my question, and the philosophical question I keep saying is, why am I still here? I'm obsolete in so many ways. I'm obsolete in every way. Why do I still exist? I'm only taking up oxygen and water and food and space. Why do I still exist? Because there's no reason for it. If the universe or God or whatever has me scheduled to do something 20 years from now, so I have to stay alive until that point, find somebody else. Find somebody else. I'm so tired. And I have been begging for so long. I don't understand why people who don't want to be alive or don't like this world or whatever have to continue on. Where people who, they get sick, they have diseases, because this is what they'll tell you. Well, think about the people who have diseases and they've got cancer or whatever. Yeah. Why? Why don't those of us who want to die go? Why can't all the people who are thinking of dying or who are in the process of ODing soon, why can't all of us have our lives traded with the people who have families who love them, who have a sickness or a disease that they're going to die from? Why can't we be switched out for those people? Why can't those people who want to live, why can't they take the place of those of us who don't? If I loved myself, I would have done it already. I would have gotten rid of myself. I don't love myself enough. I'm not brave enough to remove myself from this world. And that sucks. But my question is, why are there so many of us here who don't want to be here? When there are so many people who have great lives, have families, have good jobs, they think life is worth living, they can't wait till tomorrow, or they would love to be able to, but they're gonna die. Why can't we be switched out? There's no reason. If the universe needs so many people to do this or this many people to do that, there's no reason. There's no good reason that I can come up with. Well, God has a plan. God's plan is stupid. If he can't rearrange for the people who want to leave and the people who want to stay, that very basic who lives and who dies, if they can't arrange that so that the people who have good lives and want to be here and can be happy stay, and those of us who are miserable bastards leave, there's no reason. Rearrange it. Fix it. Because all I've got coming is a hard struggle. That's all that's in my future. A hard struggle to survive. For what, though? A hard struggle to have somewhere to live and be able to exist. For what, though? It's not I don't have anybody in my life now. I've never had anybody in my life. I had a mom. She didn't like me, come to find out. That's it. You know, all the people I liked, all the people I wanted to be around, they didn't like me. The friends I had, I found out weren't friends. The jobs I had weren't not worth the effort I put in. They didn't bring me anything. They certainly didn't bring me happiness. They didn't bring me joy. They didn't make me feel like I had a purpose. And they didn't give me enough money to pay the bills that I had at the time. Now, forget it. So, I said years ago, I feel like a remainder. You know when you do division and there's a remainder? I've always felt like I was a remainder. Like I was this thing that just was hanging off the edge for no good reason. Like I was just there. I wasn't important. I didn't matter. But now it's not, I'm not just a remainder. I'm being punished for being a leftover. I'm punished for leftovers. I've thought of that so many times. The time where he tried to kill himself and he couldn't. Anyway, I was talking about the TV show. But like I like I'm taking a space that should be for somebody else just by being alive. And because of that, I get punished until I do get rid of myself. Because for some reason, the universe can't do it. The universe can't just pluck me out and say, okay, goodbye. Because that's what I want. But I can't do it. I can't do it. I've begged and pleaded all the time lately. But then I wake up scared to death. Most days I wake up scared to death. I cannot handle it. It's not a mental disorder. It's a ridiculous situation. I would have avoided if I could, but other people were deciding. This whole past year, when I've been alone, other people were deciding. Maybe it's my decision now, maybe it's not. I don't even know. I'm so deathly afraid that I'm going to do something and make it worse. Because that's all I've ever done. Everything I've done has made it worse. Like I said, if I had quit school in 8th grade, laid right here, not on this couch because it didn't exist, but in the same spot, because the TV was there when I was in the 8th grade, and there was a different couch here. If I just quit school in the 8th grade, laid right in this spot, and just ate chips and watched TV, I'm almost 100% certain my life would have been better. But all the effort I put in, everything I did, made everything worse. All I can look back on is see me trying to hurry up, trying to hustle, trying to do something to save my life, and making it worse. All the things I did to try to hang on and keep going on for one more day with the hope that it was going to get better in the future, made it worse. I don't trust myself at all. That's why I want it to solve itself, but it won't. Eventually, everything will stop working because of money. Everything will stop working, and I'll just be here now. The boom cars really messed me up. There was a point, that's when I started to really hate everybody, was specifically because of the boom cars. I don't know when they came, 2006, 2007, around that time. I didn't have any peace anymore. I couldn't think in my own house. There was a kid around the corner who got one, like he was 16, he got a car, and it was so loud. And he would always seem to sit in that car around dinner time. I couldn't eat my dinner because of that noise. That's when I started to think I was a sensitive person. I looked that crap up on the internet. I found a book, something about highly sensitive people. I remember it had a white and yellow cover. That was before I started hearing, that was before I heard the word empath. I didn't hear about that till way later. The idea is that you pick up on other people. You're too sensitive to other people's stuff. Or why am I still here? I am a waste of space. I'm a waste of everything. I don't want to be here. There's so many people who really want to be alive. I've been sitting here watching this whole pandemic. It's when it started in Italy, and I was thinking of all the Italian people and how they must have been. You know how you think of Italian people at a funeral, and they didn't even get to have funerals, and how upset they must have been if their loved ones died. And I was like, why am I here? They shouldn't be going through that. People like me who don't want to be here should be gone. All I can do is think about it. I cannot motivate myself to get up and do anything. I just don't give a shit. I just don't want the future. I'm sure when things actually happen, I'll panic and it'll be too late. All this time I was holding on for something to happen one way or another. But if it's that I have to save myself, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's already too late in some ways, I think. I mean, maybe it's not, and maybe I should be doing something right now, but like I said, I can't. I can't give a shit about my life at this point. Any dreams or anything I would have had was gone years ago. And now the world out there disgusts me. The whole world disgusts me. The way it's been the last few years, the way it's been going is awful. And what they've changed it into so quickly by way of this pandemic and what they've used it for. You know. I don't know. I started to think a while back that the only reason people are alive is to have kids. If you don't have kids, there's no point. And I thought that because I don't have kids. Because you get born, you're somebody's kid. Okay? And that's your purpose. And your purpose is to be their person. And whether they like you or not, there's that dynamic. And you're somebody's kid. And then you become a parent, maybe. And then those people pass away. And now you're nobody's kid, but you're somebody's parent. And that's what it's all about. And then maybe you become a grandparent or whatever. But without that motivating factor, I gotta feed my kids. It's all just you. It's all just you, you know? And when it's just you, there's nothing. And I've known that for a long time, but I don't know if I've said it expressly. I didn't decide to be like this. Yeah, I'm something of a loner, and I guess I always was in a way, but I didn't dislike people. And I didn't make a declaration at any point in my life that I didn't want to have kids or get married or any of that stuff. I just, with everything else, I guess I stupidly thought, and I guarantee you if I went and asked somebody else right now, they tell me the same thing, that things work out for themselves. or, you know, like I said, you put one foot in front of the other and you show up every day, and then stuff happens. And not in my case. Not in my case. I put my one foot in front of the other every day. Up until very recently, I was still pushing myself. I can't push myself anymore. That's the thing. My whole life, whether it was good or not, whether there was anything at the end of the rainbow, or, you know, if there was a prize at the end, it didn't. I still put one foot in front of the other and kept pushing myself. And I can't do it anymore. I cannot push myself anymore. I think the lockdowns had something to do with that, forcing me to sit still. Like I said, I didn't even used to stay home. I hated staying home one whole complete day. I hated it. We used to have buses every day, and then, oh God, like 15 years ago or something, they stopped having Sunday buses. That was really hard for me. But I would still try to go somewhere and try to do something. There was a whole, like, year or something where me and my mother used to walk to the hospital cafeteria. We used to walk to the hospital, go to the cafeteria, and have, like, snacks and stuff. Just to leave the house. I could not stand being in the house all day. You know? So, forcing me to sit still, I guess it broke something. But the minute that we got stimulus money, the minute that we got that we were allowed to again, I would go. Like I said, I would go to Wendy's, I would go to Burger King or whatever, because I needed to still do that. I needed to go out and be a person. That's not doing anything of any consequence, but it was what I used to do. You know, if I could have gone to the library, I would have gone to the library. If I could have gone to the movies, maybe not. But those were the things I used to do, even though I didn't stay home. I was still out there. I still did things. Forcing me in, I think it broke something. I think now I just can't force myself. And if I have to save whatever little money I have, I can cut back. I can cut back beyond belief. I just don't know how to go and get money. There are no planets in my second house. There are no planets. What's the other one? I got a few astrological houses where there are no planets, and those are all the money ones. Those are all the money houses in an astrology chart. So for years, when I said, why am I having a hard time? Why can't I make money? Even when I had a job and I wasn't making enough money, like I didn't have extra, not by a long shot. I didn't understand why I was so bad at making money. And, you know, I was looking, I was like, maybe it's these empty houses in my astrology chart. They say that's not supposed to be it, but I don't have any planets in my 7th house either. All my planets are in the fruity houses of 12th house, and spirituality and death and friends, actually. It's in those houses. Got Mars in the 3rd house. I always fought with neighbors. I always had a problem in my neighborhood. If that's how I've been my whole life, how am I going to change? I don't want to change. I can't change. All I keep seeing is 555. Look that up if you want. I get all these messages that, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Honestly, I can't force myself to go in the other room. I can't force myself to do anything anymore. I just want to be done. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired. I'm tired of this bullshit games this world has become. Tired of hearing about it. I'm so fucking sick of seeing commercials like, buy all this shit, buy a new iPhone, buy all this shit that I never could afford. And I'm just sitting there going, how are they still pushing all this? It's like the poor people disappeared. What happened to all the people who they talked about who didn't have money, who weren't going to be able to pay rent? What happened? All the moratoriums. are gone, what we cease to be, right? I think that's what the news has always done. They just ignore the real problems. But they're not their problems, so we're not problems. We don't exist. I wish I didn't exist. I wish we really didn't exist. They don't want us to exist. And I don't want to exist. I have to think there are other people who don't want to exist either. That's what the drugs and the alcohol are for, right? That's what I don't even know what the pills are now that the doctors give you. Is it still Prozac? Is it still that shit? That's why this stuff exists, right? Because we don't want to exist. So why doesn't it sort it out? Why am I still here? Why are those of us who just are fucking tired, why can't we go in the place of people who want to stay? It's so fucking simple. I am obsolete. I don't belong. I am so fucking tired. I watch one more fucking thing that says I'm supposed to be a healer and I'm this wonderful, awesome person. Well, I'm so happy that I healed other people. And that is an explanation for why people wouldn't leave me the fuck alone, even though I just left everybody alone. But you know what? My life is a torture. It has been a torture. I don't deserve it because I do nothing. I do everything I can to stay out of other people's way. I don't want to be here. I used to think, what if I won the lottery? I would do this, I would do that to help people. I would do all the other things. No, the only reason I would want to win the lottery now is to pay the bills I have, get that out of my head, save myself from this situation I'm in right now, and then after that, I don't want to do anything else anymore. I don't want to travel anymore. All the things I wanted to do that I never got to do, that I was so sad about, that were coming to an end because of the pandemic, I don't want them anymore. I don't want to go to the movies. I don't want to go to shows. I don't want to do anything anymore. I don't want to be around people. I just want to be done. I just want to be done. If I had to live, if I won the lottery and I had all the money to pay my bills, I would just want to live somewhere quiet until I'm done with this life sentence and I could just watch whatever internet crap and just stay the hell away from everybody. And if I want to go to a cafe or something like that, watch the people go by. That's it. That's not a life. That's not something to strive for. That's not something to force yourself to. I mean, I get out of bed. I don't not get out of bed. I still do things as if I'm possessed. Somebody gets me to go and make tea, and somebody inside, who I don't know who the hell that is, still makes me do the things I have to do. But if it's up to me, I want to be done. I'm tired. There's nothing I want out there anymore. I just want to stop suffering. I want to stop being in this situation. And I don't get why I'm still here. I was going to let it go to an hour. Obviously, I am not fixing the audio on this because I really hope to God nobody sat through this. That would just be a waste of your time and more of me being a waste of space in this world. I'm putting it up there. Why? I don't know. Because something keeps making me do this. Maybe it's for when we all die and the aliens come down and they find YouTube and they want to know why were people so disgusting? Why were humans so disgusting and deserve to die? They'll find my videos and say, oh, look at this bitch. Oh, this explains it all. I'm glad humans didn't make it. I wish this human didn't make it.